We are live. Welcome back, everyone, to the Word Traction podcast. I hope you all had an enjoyable weekend and start off the week with on a positive note. Andy Burnham, who won a seat as a member of Parliament in the Greater Manchester part of England. Is the most likely man to take over for Keir Starmer, who announced that he was resigning his position as Labour Party leader, and he did that early this morning, Boston time, and he was under a tremendous amount of pressure, and his failings versus just a casualty of circumstance. We can do that some other day. But Burnham he is no stranger to politics. He has put his hand up a couple times, and then decided, based of his own volition, to take a run for, and he won the inaugural seat as the Greater Manchester mayor. So he has real executive experience, as many MPs and many members of Congress and many members of the U.S. Senate do not have, except for the ones that were fortunate enough to be governor or mayors. It's very important training. So he will be well suited to the task. He's personable. He's as I was joking in the feed last night, I guess, he's brought a great deal of diversity to the senior leadership in London, that now we get a brunette instead of a gray-haired, tall, white, relatively good-looking man with glasses. So, but he's well respected on both sides of the aisle, and would represent UK admirably, I believe. And so they will go through the process. I hope that they don't try to escalate it too quickly and allow him the time to set his platform and communicate that effectively, because we have very recent experience in the United States at presenting clearly a parliamentary form of government in the UK, but with you could argue with Kamala Harris that because of Biden's decision to wait too long, then that made the voters feel that it was fait accompli, and that their input was not welcomed or needed in the democratic process. So that can be avoided merely by showing a little bit of restraint, patience, and humility. And I know I'm talking about politicians, but he's a smart guy surrounded by smart people, and we look forward to it. The other important issue that comes out of that is that in the constituency where he was victorious, it was one where Nigel Farage, his party, was surging and performing much better in polls. So, Reform UK. And this was a resounding win for Labour at a time that they needed it. Labour, both of the traditional parties in a multi-party system, Labour and the Tories were weakening, and this kind of resounding show for the Labour Party might also have a kind of a second-order effect of giving Labour a little bit of momentum to push back at the fascists, Nazis, or however you want to refer to Reform UK. They are, they're very anti-immigrant. They're, MAGA-esque, and we have to take our wins wherever we can, and we have to try to build momentum, because there are other very profound challenges in Europe, right across the English Channel, where in this year itself, as we've talked about before on this platform, the AfD alternative for Germany is building tremendous momentum. They're very complicated system there, where there is an agreement to not allow the fascists to gain power. The other parties have a pact that they won't form coalition, but AfD is polling so well. They're expected in two particular states that are in the former East Germany. They're expected to do they do much better in the East because it's much more you know, after unification, it is thought that the people that live in the former East Germany tend to be much more. They look more favorably upon your boy Vladimir Putin in Russia than people in the West Germany do. So in upcoming state elections in Saxony and in Mecklenburg. AfD is expected to do very well, and it's projected. These are early polls. The elections are in September, so we can't. The same as our advanced polling, which sucks just as much, if not more. Um, but if, for instance, AfD was able to get high 30s when they overperformed in the 20s in the last rounds, um, and did so in Turinga. They have done admirably, if you can say fascists do anything admirably. They have overperformed and are trending in a positive direction for their ability to advance their cause further. There is, like I said, there is that not artificial, but a cap of a constructive cap where if you can't, even if you win 40 whatever percent, the only way you could end up governing is if you win an outright majority, then you don't need to form a coalition with anyone. There are some smaller parties. There are some some even more vile parties than the AfD that they can make some agreements with. But it's going to be very challenging. I'm just going to remind you nice people because the person that maintains a hand in Nigel Farage's rise in Reform UK and in the AfD in Germany and in Rally in France is one Vladimir Putin. He is. I was having an argument with somebody over the weekend about whether Marine Le Pen, who is the former candidate for leader of France. She's currently in. There is a ruling expected any time now as to whether she'll be allowed to participate in elections. She was banned for 5 years because not because she took money from Vladimir Putin, which she did, but what she is being charged with is fraud, financial impropriety in the pursuit of campaign finance uh, uh, work. Right. So she has an appointed successor who's a ridiculously, excuse me, a very young gentleman who uh, uh, who polls. If she, without the legal troubles, if you say Marine Le Pen favorability, is now at 40, he's at 39 or something like that. So they stand to do the ultra right party stands to do very well in France. The ultra right sheen, well, as far as relationship with the U.S., a little bit of that shine came off because Ms. Merloni in Italy absolutely tore Donald Trump a new asshole which is it is. I wish I spoke better Italian. I would say things like "bellissima" or something like that. But it was magnificent. What she did just tuned him up about him suggesting in media that she was begging him for a picture, and I posted her comments on that. And she is a very talented communicator, and she ripped Donald a new one. So that was I would play that over and over. And if she's saying it to me, marvelously attractive, not that that matters, of course, 50 something leader of an important ally on repeat, ripping Trump a new asshole, just saying basically, I don't need to ask for special permission from anything. You're a piece of, she didn't say what I would say, but she did enough. She did her very best. And this was, Merloni was someone who was sympathetic to the MAGA cause, thought to be in alignment with that more right wing cause, and she is. She just has she has folks trying to run to her right now. It's of course, it's politics. It's going to be gamesmanship and game theory and all of the things that go into it, but none of them sound nearly as delightful as Ms. Merloni. So we'll continue to follow her. France, as I said, the election isn't until 27, isn't until next year, but it's going to be very important because that's one of the major economies. That is not Portugal swinging for we have our friends in uh, the leader of Spain, but on a GDP basis, if we start to lose Germany, France, and UK, then we got some problems. We have problems anyways, but we have to fight vigilantly. And Andy Burnham's victory certainly is a small step in the right direction. If he, assuming that no skeletons come running out of the closet, and he wins the race to take that seat in the parliamentary government to lead his party, then that's great. That pushes off the necessity for having elections. That is give him a chance to lead in a more responsible way to kind of burnish the Labor Party brand that took a little beating under Starmer. So again, it's a little bit of his fault, and also the very effective. There's a hunger for that right wing extremism when they do the same thing that J.D. Vance and Donald J. Trump do, is point at people that have healthier skin tones than I have and say they are the reason why you're not earning more, why you young people are not succeeding, not earning more than your parents did. It's because of black and brown people. Right? Uh, in Europe, it's complicated because out of necessity, Angela Merkel in Germany opened the doors a little bit to allow immigrants in because of the demographics of Germany and what was one of the most successful industrial stories of our lifetime. German, like you've heard of BMW and Volkswagen and other things, and Germany makes great things consistently. They have for a long time. It's kind of trite or a cliche, but German made, whether that's stereo components or automobiles. It it implies a level of precision that we haven't matched here in the U.S. Right? You could say the same about Japan. China can make much more of everything, but if you look at Germany and Japan, they make the better things that can demand a higher price point because of the precision, the expertise, the craftsmanship that matches, and that's Germany, left, right, and center. But that, of course, they're under tremendous pressure, and Chinese automakers trying to get into their market. The same AI crunch that we feel here in the U.S. is affecting German factory workers the same way it's affecting U.S. Amazon employees. A different level of skill, of course, but but AI will upset all of that. It's just a matter of we don't know exactly in what particular way, at what pace, and that's ain't that the fun of it, that we get to learn as we go, and take a lot of shots at the people that we love most, like Elon, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Peter Thiel, our new friend, the founder of Palantir, who I had a delightful episode about a few days ago. And if you missed that one, it's fun to think of these really rich guys going into bunkered places with boiling oil and moats and high walls and men at the top with bows and arrows raining down on the invaders with pitchforks. But that's kind of it's a uh, it's a silly dramatization of real life issues that these people are, we need to succeed at any cost, and the serfs, the slaves, not not racial, no racial implications to that word choice, but those people that are below us, the lower classes, the working class, must deliver for us because without our genius, the world is over and China wins, which is always the kind of the supposed to be the coup de grace, right? That if we don't build a data center and on the roof of every elementary school in the country tomorrow and fire it up 24/7, then China wins, we lose, and it's your fault. Whatever politician that happens to be in office at that time, that will be Donald Trump, and of course if it suits him, which it does, he will do this. I'm over dramatizing, but there will be government assistance most, to the wealthiest gentlemen and most successful corporations in the world. There will be government assistance at getting more data centers up and running at a faster pace because of the fears of the very real fears of these modern age these modern age titans to get running before another administration comes in. That's one of the failings of our democracy. We found plenty of them thanks to Donald Trump, who knows how to find a loser. Is that if everything runs in 4-year cycles, but businesses need to plan in 30-year increments. China can afford to do that because it's a totalitarian regime. We don't. Our system doesn't allow us to do that. That puts us at a disadvantage, but the advantages outweigh the costs until a fascist motherfucker comes in, and upsets all of the apple carts and all of the honeybees and all of the other good things. So we have to fix that, as we will in our next by-election, and coming up on the midterms. We will address that in an aggressive form. I gave a mention, and I'll do another episode later in a week or whatever, on Tennessee doing more absolutely racist bullshit, following Memphis, following the state as a whole, and that the NFL's award of the 2030 Super Bowl to Nashville. I'm going to be on that like white on rice for years, because it is my personal goal to shine enough light on it. People will put collective action pressure on the networks, the advertisers, the sponsors, and the NFL itself. excuse me, the NFL itself, because to reward a state that essentially reimposed of their own volition Jim Crow laws to disadvantage our brothers and sisters that live there in such an openly racist way. It can't be, the risk to all of us these days, besides the Trump administration, is the news, data, information environment when so many things are coming so quickly that we lose focus and move on and just say, yeah, I'm gonna take a pass on this thing because somebody else will take care of it, right? And that's our biggest risk between now and the first Tuesday following the first Monday in the month of November for the midterm elections is voter apathy. So we need to remain focused. So I'm going to. Oh well, let's just visit our friend Vladimir one more time because, as many of you know, we're going way back here. Let's see, we're going back 40 years, right? In Dresden, in the German state of Saxony, which is Saxony-Anhalt, is in the former East Germany. Right? That is the two largest cities in that state. The capital of that state is Dresden. If you are a World War II buff, you would have heard a lot of stories about Dresden, and almost none of them are good from a humanistic point of view. It was, well, we'll leave that for another day. A lot of bombs, probably more than were necessary to achieve the purpose, but that's going back even further than I've been alive, remarkably. That is, that's 90 years ago, well, plus or minus. But from 85 to 90, our friend and comrade, Vladimir Putin, was stationed in Dresden, right? Oh, I'm sorry. The two largest cities in that state are Dresden and Rostock, and I guess Rostock is it's 600,000, where Dresden is 550. It's they're the two biggest cities by a long shot in that important former East German state. And Vladimir Putin was there for from 85 to 90. He was the KGB's liaison officer with the Stasi, which is the former East German secret police. And they were easily the most brutal state security service, even by comparison with the KGB themselves. The Stasi were, I mean, they were they were intermarried in so many ways, and Vladimir Putin was the guy. He was the KGB voice inside the Stasi. He was the one that would coordinate, activity, operations, recruitment, and other things at the Stasi. So he speaks German fluently. The level of his English, he doesn't show that off too much. But because he's a smart guy, knows the importance of languages. It's probably an easier lift from Russian to German than it is to English, but that's for another day. I don't know how fluent he is. These days, you can just put it in your Bluetooth device. What another key event that happened during his term there was a little something called the Berlin Wall coming down, which was in that was in '89, right? So he was there for that. He stayed in place for 6 months to a year more, and then went back to Russia. He knows the former East Germany like the back of his hand. he is connected and has provided funds to the AfD, the Alternative for Deutschland, for a alternative for Germany, that at least fascist party, if not, you know, I shy away from using the Nazi label because it comes loaded with atrocities that would distract focus on it in 2026. But they are ultra right wing fascistic, ethno fascist, anti immigrant parties. They always have, there's aren't there always exceptions? And it's funny that the fascists are against DEI, they're against uh, trans, bi, um, LGBTQ. Yet one of their two leaders is a woman married to a woman who lives outside of Germany, Ms. Heidel, with her wife and their children. It's a world of of conflicting ideologies and practices. No shade, just an observation. So yeah, so that's Putin, intimately familiar with Germany. Did he leave 500 agents in place for 35 years that are just, that are coming out of the cold right now to make a stand with a party they couldn't have imagined would have even formed? No, but he's a planner. Are there still connections that he has been fostering over those years? Absolutely. That's beyond dispute. There were arrests at the time the wall went up. It was interesting in Germany what they did, even when they found people spying for Russia when the wall came down, is that if they were from the former East Germany, they just didn't prosecute them because they had to find they had to move forward. They were it's reunification. What we you know are we going to be as we have to be as open minded with our red pilled brothers and sisters in MAGA as we try to reform a more perfect union. But that isn't easy because we're all human, and we're like, yeah, well, your experiment meant that Alex Preddy and Renee Good died. Will ICE kill people under Democratic and Republican administrations going forward? Yes, because bad things happen, bad hires happen, accidents happen. Yes, they happen. But the fact that that ICE, Bovino, freaking your homegirl Christy Nome created the conditions on the ground that caused that to happen in rapid succession in that particular town, and there are continue to be violent arrests in that area merely because Donald Trump has decided that that his I wouldn't say disdain. He uh, he and Ilhan Omar, the glorious, beautiful, brilliant representative from Minnesota, don't see eye to eye on everything, and she is one of our brightest stars when it comes to triggering one DJT. Yeah, thank goodness for her in every possible way. But he's running Black Hawk Down in his addled, decrepit brain. And so any people from African countries have been barred. We see stories now for the Olympics that visitors, ticket holders, people that did the right thing, got the visas, were denied entry to watch their team play. As we've talked about before, this is a lifetime dream. A father, a mother going with their son or daughter to watch the World Cup when their team qualifies. It's it is reprehensible is the nicest way to put it. It's embarrassing. It's disgusting, and it happens every day in the Trump administration. All you have to do is to listen to Stephen Miller's most why he's invited on Sunday programs. I don't know. They have to get out of the business of doing that. It does tell. It reminds us the vile vision of many of the people in the Trump administration. But to give platform, even JD Vance, when they you invite them, you know they're going to lie. They come on and they don't disappoint and they lie. It's like, yeah, well, we got to cover the news. You know what you got to do? Why don't you set some guidelines? If you are unable to do that, then you're in the wrong business, and you can just sell yourself to Larry Ellison like everybody else has, and we'll let Substack take over the hard work. So yeah. Anyways, that is celebrating Andy Burnham. That is reminding everyone that one ray of sunshine in English constituency does not reverse the advances of the fascists, the Nazis, and racists and white Christian nationalists in Great Britain, in UK, in France, in Germany, and other places, because Vladimir Putin is continuing to fund all, not one of them, all of them. Vladimir Putin. We were talking. One final thing is that my famous last words that Marine Le Pen, who is waiting for those the the verdict from the judge to see if she'll be allowed to run. It'll that decision will help her rally to certainly ride to victory. The fascists will be leading the government in France next year. All the odds say that, unless there is some divine inspiration. People look to Andy Burnham. They look to inspirational leaders in the United States, and they say, we don't want to go this way. We don't want to play that game. But Marine Le Pen, who did receive money from Russia before, Vladimir Putin funded her father for a long time. So, I mean, there is a legacy of Russian interference in the form of Vladimir Putin in Germany, France, and in the UK. The determination that the two fires that were started at Keir Starmer's properties in Greater London, one which was occupied by his sister, and a car bombing fire that was started in a car with accelerants, gasoline, were all done at the direction of Russian state security. That was just a finding that came out last week. So it ain't a matter of if, it's how much. And it ain't going to stop there. And they are still on the ground here in New York and in Florida and waiting for the midterms and using AI in a way to affect, hack into voting machines. There are examples from friends on this platform and in various parts, St. Lucie County, Florida. There are examples in Pennsylvania of voting machines that are not supposed to be connected to the internet, but are in are a developed. They have the capacity to be connected to the internet, the interwebs, and miraculously or mysteriously, they are connected at some point. And then you layer on the Justice Department's effort to grab all the voter roll information. What do? You identify progressive leaning voters to purge from the rolls, thereby, it's math, and math is undefeated. So thank you. And Word Traction podcast, we'll be back with you tomorrow. We'll be back with you on Wednesday. We'll be back with, we think, a regular episode of Corrupt Connections on Thursday, DEI Fridays on Friday. And then we're back to the weekend again. We've got 4th of July coming up fast. So if I make any sudden moves while I'm on the porch, if you note, I try to do these, I will try to do these earlier because the four-legged assassin, the 10-pound four-legged assassin that is inside, is in counseling and treatment still from the last time fireworks went off near his royal bed, and he is traumatized. So we try to avoid that. In fact, he's being shipped to his grandma's house for the actual 4th of July, just to try to make life easier on him. So thank you, and wishing you all a great week, and try not to fall for any of those Vladimir Putin tricks. And I'm going to try to lean in, and it's bright enough that I'm going to probably have to stand up in order to disconnect the camera. So I will give you a short view of the hood, dangerous hood that it is. You can see it is. There are risks on every corner, and I'm going to step inside and hit a button. And thank you very much.